All right, so it's been a few days since I was last out here at the shop and working on the swing arm. So kind of a quick little, that's what that's looking like. A lot better. You can still see all these nicks and stuff, but they're a lot smaller. I smoothed out a lot of this, so you can't really feel them as much. Yeah, that's kind of nasty. That's still a little dirty in there. So I'm going to stand on this probably a little bit more and then wash it off. And I got the bearings to put in here as well. Hopefully I can get that done today. I need to try and get those all cleaned up today too. The boot, treble clamps, and linkage, although the linkage is kind of the least of my problems right now. So I did a render up of the bike with a black frame, black swing arm. Unfortunately, I've got silver wheels, and I don't feel like painting those. I think that just looks really cheap. I mean, doing spray paint on the frame is kind of cheap anyways, but if you dig what I'm saying. So rather than doing that or spending all the money just to replace what, for all I can tell, are good rims. I've looked at them, they seem straight. There's no dings, dents, or bends in them that I can tell. So rather than replacing them, I'm going to just leave them, clean them up, and we're not going to change the color on those. So we're going to repaint the frame. The black should work as a good base, and we're just going to put a couple layers of aluminum silver on top of it. I think that'll give that a nice look. And then once the swing arm's done, depending on how it comes out, if the finish looks like how I'm hoping, I may just, I've got clear coat as well, so I might throw some clear coat on that, or I'll also hit it with a little bit of the aluminum silver just to kind of fill in the nicks, sand it down a little bit, and just kind of fill in some of those spots. Hit it with some of the same silver, and then clear coat over the top of that as well. We'll see. I haven't gotten that far yet, but for now, let's get to painting on the frame so I can get to work on some other stuff. So here we go. Let's just see how this looks. We'll start here. Oh wow, that came out really, really silver. Okay, well, anyways, we're gonna get to it. Okay, so we got the frame painted. I think it came out pretty good. So while that's going, I think I'll go ahead and get going on, well, clean those up, and then while those are going, I can work on getting these bearings pressed out. I want to do that before I paint it in case the heat does anything to the paint. I'm not sure if it'll burn the paint, but why take that risk? So I'll get that cleaned up, and that way I can put that into the swing arm, the subframe. We'll get that ready to go into the bike as well. As far as the paint goes, first coat's done. Gonna have to flip it around a few times to get everything. I think it's coming out pretty good. Since we'd already done a bunch the prep work and done a few layers of black. And so we'll be putting some frame guards on, grip tape, and then I have clear protective tape that you would normally use on like your car doors and stuff like that in order to protect any other areas where hoses might rub on it and stuff like that. So that way we're not just chewing through the paint and we can keep it clean looking. So let's get going on this. All right, so here's the frame. We got it upside down now. This side's all coated. It's still drying. I kind of messed it up a little bit right there. So you can see the black coming through, but just another example of why we need more than just the one or two coats. Subframe's all cleaned up. I was going to build it up, but what I think I'm going to do is wait until I get that. We've got some clear protective tape coming, if I haven't said that already. And so I think what I'm going to do is wait till that comes in. And so that way I can kind of put it on these areas right here where the air box sits, just to kind of like protect this from getting worn down further. I'm not afraid of it wearing into it, but just, you know, kind of protect everything, plus just reduce some of the vibration between parts. This guy needs, it's brand new. I built this up, so we got this all together now. Air boots on. Little dirty right there, but I can live with that. But we got a rivet right there, but where'd it go? Other side, I think. Yep. No rivet there, so I gotta fix that. And then this guy that'll be ready to go on. So I should have that tape in a few days. So once I get the tape in, this is going back together. I'm gonna hit this with one more coat, then I'm getting out of here. I did get the triple clamps done. As you can see, it's much cleaner. The linkage knuckle here is a lot cleaner, along with the bolts. This needs bearings. They all fell out. They were dusty and rusty. Can't really see. There you go. You can see that right there. And then got this bearing all cleaned out. Still got a little bit of a noise to it, but it's fairly clean. I'm not going to get it any cleaner, but I can't even hear it right now. So yeah, I did a pretty good job, I think, of getting all the dirt and grime out of that. That's all greased up. That one's all greased up and clean too. So this is all ready. Look how shiny that is. Pretty. It's all pretty now. So that's all ready to go on the frame. So now I just got to get through this painting procedure again. We had it black, changed my mind. We're going silver. So once that's all dried up, I can get this back together and start that whole process. Yeah, my bearing races got all painted too, so I'm not too worried about that because I got some acetone we can clean that off with. But we still have all these other parts that need to get cleaned up. So I'll probably dry mount the I'll clean the suspension and brakes up and stuff like that. So I'll get all that mounted up as soon as the frame's ready. So I'll put everything together really that can, just because the suspension, the forks and shock are so easy to take off, and do the fixes on those once the rest of the bike is together. So I just want to get the bike built back up, and then we can go back down through some of this in another couple weeks when I get the parts for that. And then same thing with the wheels. We'll mount the wheels on there, even though they're going to have these old tires. Just because it's really easy to pull the tires off, the wheels to get the tires off. So we still need to clean these up. I need to resurface the rotors on both of these. The rear was able to grab pretty well, but I'm just going to just rough them up and all that. And then of course we got the gas tank here, and that needs to be cleaned up, and the pipe still needs to be cleaned up. Excited for that. I think what I'm going to do is try a trick where once it's all cleaned up, I'll go back over the welds. Since it's raw steel, I'll go back over the welds with a blowtorch and heat them up to re-blue the welds. I think that'll look really trick. And then, unfortunately, we got a stock silencer, and that's what I'm going to run. It's a practice bike. It's not a race bike. I may end up racing it, but I've got a full-on race bike of the same. I've got another 04 that's built for racing. This one's, I'm putting it together for practice. So it doesn't need to be 110%. We just need it to be rock solid and durable. So anyways, that's it for today. I guess I'm time to get out of here. Quick note, we got the swing arm cleaned up. It's not painted yet. That's just it clean. I did not get to the bearings. Those are the old bearings. I don't like that. I'm going to get to those in probably like Monday or Tuesday. Today's Saturday. Just ran out of time today. All right. Bye. All right, we got the swing arm back from the shop. There it is. That's the side. We'll turn this on into the light. So he had to drill it out and put a quick cert in there. So that should hold pretty well. Shouldn't be any problems with that from now on. But it's dirty, so we got to pull that linkage off. It's going to need new bearings. And then we're going to get the swing arm cleaned up and ready to go on the bike. The bike's got another coat of paint on it, about 1 or 2 more, and it's ready to start getting parts put on it. So we're going to get the swing arm cleaned up, subframe, and get ready to start reassembly. All right, got the next step. So there's these old graphics on it. It's still shiny from it, and there's still this under graphics on here. but I scraped off the outer thick stuff. So I'm gonna see if I can hit this with some acetone and maybe a scrub brush to get this off first before we wash it and start getting into making this thing shine. So let's get to work. All right, so we got all the sticker cleaned off. There's no more gunk on the swing arm here. I've rinsed it off and kind of scrubbed it off fairly well. But you can see there's these dings all along it and just rough spots. There's that guy right there that I don't like. That's a little nick right there on the back side. This rough spot right here. Got all that cleaned out. And then there's this guy. This doesn't go too deep really. It looks bad, but it's not as bad as it seems. And that's gonna be under the chain slider. The old one was just allowed to be worn through. And you know, the bike wasn't taken care of very well, so of course that's gonna happen. The bearings move. They are probably really dirty. So I'll probably give a shot at cleaning those out first before I just replace them. Put some fresh grease in, see how they turn after that. I'm not in a huge rush to replace every bearing on here just yet. But before I do all that, we're gonna, next time I'm over here, I'm gonna go ahead and sand this all down, get rid of, kind of take off these rough edges, and kind of maybe give this a little bit of a rough polish. Kind of an oxymoron there, or irony, oxymoron, I don't know. Kind of a bit backwards there, going with a rough polish, but I don't want it to be pure polished. So I'll take it to like just before that, give it just kind of a nicer finish than this. So I've got this subframe right now soaking in degreaser, so I'm going to go ahead and scrub that down and get to work on that real quick. All right, so just jumping ahead. At the end of that last bit, we were working on the swing arm, but as you can see, triple clamps are all together. They're mounted in the bike. They're not tightened down, but they're on the bike. Motor is in. It's all tight. So that's all good to go. I thought about painting those, but I just cleaned them up with a wire brush on a wire wheel. Got all this in. The swing arm is on. It's tight. So all we did with this was just hit it with some nice aluminum color and then clear coat over top of it. Looks a lot better than it did. We'll see how durable this paint job is. I'm not expecting much out of it, but it was a lot cheaper than getting it powder coated right off the bat. And I wanted to make sure that I just had everything back together right. And things were working pretty well first. And then the plan is it's going to be used for practice up until about winter. Unless something else happens with it, I don't know. But right now it's just going to be used for practice. So when it comes time to probably do the top end again, I'm probably going to strip it all back down depending on how bad the paint looks. And then send the frame out for powder coat along with, I think I'll go ahead and send the swing arm off to go get, I'm debating on powder coat or anodizing. My other bike has an anodized, so I may just want to copy that. Who knows? Anyways, here you go. All right, quick little update before the end of this video. We got the controls as far as the clutch and throttle are on. So right now I'm just kind of working on getting the cables all cleaned up right now before I start to put stuff on top of and in the way. Got the forks mounted, obviously, with the front wheel with the axles all the way through. It's not tight, but that's on there just to kind of help prop the bike up. So stepping back, this is how it's looking so far. There's a couple spots I need to add some protective tape to on the frame, mostly along through here where the cables are going to go, and on the other side for the clutch cable. And then I got to add some along the swing arm where the brake line's going to go. And then I didn't have time today, but I got to get that linkage all the bearings pressed in so we can mount that up, the shock. And then we're kind of on our way home with this thing. So it's really starting to wrap up here pretty quick. And I'm excited to get this thing at least rideable again so I can take it out. Hopefully in the next few days. Anyways, bye.